Chapter 2, classification of frauds at page 157.
Yes.
These are, in my understanding, are illustrative. Turning over to page 158, chapter 3, a central fraud 3.1, a central fraud registry based on the fraud monitoring returns filed by the banks and the select so-and-so, including update thereof, has been made available, which banks have been given access through user IDs and password, etc. The practice of issuing paper-based, all that is right. So we have a central fraud registry. Then 3.2, banks need to furnish fraud monitoring return in individual fraud cases, irrespective of the amount involved, by using and all that. Now, also, page 159, 3.2.3, fraud reports should also be submitted in cases where central investigating agencies have initiated criminal proceeding so moto and where the Reserve Bank has directed that cases be reported as frauds. Banks may also report frauds perpetrated in their subsidiaries, affidavits, joint ventures, etc. So therefore, we have, and page, same page, 3.2.7, for the banks are also required to furnish developments in the fraud cases through update applications applied on file. Then kindly turn over to 161, reports to the board, that is the RBI. Banks should ensure that all frauds are reported to their boards promptly on their detection. Such reports should, among other things, take note of the failure on the part of the concerned branch officials and controlling authorities and give details of actions initiated against the official responsible for the fraud. Then there's a quarterly review, then the annual review of frauds. Then turning over to page 163, the importance of looking at banking frauds is, I think, is set out here in good measure. So we have 4.4 special committee of the board. Well, audit committee shall monitor all the cases of frauds in general. Banks are required to constitute a special committee of the board for monitoring and follow-up cases of frauds involving amounts 10 million exclusively. The special committee is to be constituted 5 members. So that's another detail of how the special committee will work. Then closure of fraud cases, kindly turn over to chapter 6 and particularly at page 167. In dealing with cases of fraud, embezzlement, banks should not merely be actuated by the necessity of recovering expeditiously amount involved. I stop here for a minute because one of the statements made in the charge sheet or otherwise is, oh, we have recovered about good part of the money. So, but should also be motivated by public interest and the need for ensuring that the guilty persons do not go unpunished. Therefore, as a general rule, the following cases should invariably be referred to the state police or to the CBI as detailed below. So in private sector, foreign banks, category of banks, then you column 2, amount involved in the fraud, 10,000 above, 1 million above, all that is state police, if committed by staff, here the remarks, and 1 million above, state police, if committed by outsiders, on their own, and with the connivance of bank staff officer. And 10 million and above, in addition to state police, serious fraud investigating office, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Government of India, second to so-and-so, then remarks, details of the fraud ought to be reported to the SFIO in FIR format. Then public sector banks, below 30 million, 10,000 and above, but below so-and-so, state police, then we have remark committed by itself. Then we are looking at the third part of it, 30 million and above, and up to 250 million CBI, to be lodged with the anti-corruption view of the CBI in so-and-so and made so-and-so. Economic offences wing, more than 250 million with the banking security and fraud cell of CBI, and more than the 500 million to be lodged with the joint director CBI headquarters. Having regard to the quantum, the hierarchy within the CBI will also is also changed. Therefore, this is a principle as a part of the master directions issued by the bank, by the RBI, is binding on the bank. If it's binding on the bank, it says, I have no other option but to go to CBI. I don't go and request anybody else say, I need your consent. So inbuilt in this very scheme of, as I said, 35A and this master circular, that this scheme is completely outside the domain of the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. For a very, very important reason. The important reason is, as I said right to begin at the beginning, the banking industry, the importance of ensuring the integrity of banking industry. And if the parliament thought 35A should be probably narrowly tailored, why can't state investigation agencies look into banking industry frauds? Well, the parliament could have done something differently.
No, state government does not.
Pardon?
State government does not look into the banking frauds of the ones.
That's why the mass circular says
says
that within a certain limit, state police will do it. But the
Now-
moment the limit goes up,
limit goes up, it has to go to the CBI.
we have gone beyond that limit.
Now you've gone beyond that limit, definitely.
right.
Now a crime is registered in crime number 118 of 2024 against banking officials.
Yes.
I believe those are all dropped while filing the charge sheet.
Yes.
So no banking official is there as on today as an accused in any crime. And in the crime that you have registered before the CBI, that is against those banking officials, the CBI is going on with that.
No, I look at it slightly differently. I'm a
Yes,
little
no,
concerned. I am not here as a,
Sorry, but I just wanted clarification.
sorry.
No, sorry, sir, but I wanted clarification, so I have taken it.
yes. I just come back to it. I understand the nature of the dimension of the issues.
Yes.
And I also stand here not taking any partisan stand. I try to understand why RBI says that I will be the master of any banking fraud. But then if it's a very small amount, I don't need to worry about it. If that is so, then there is no other process or a procedure which can be conceived where somebody else, including a state government, will come and say, I have done an investigation regardless of the quantum of the fraud involved. Now, we began an investigation on an FIR given by somebody who turns out to be an accused himself later, and the banking officials, we exonerated them now. The FIR lodged by the chairman
Yes.
of the corporation
Yes.
was with very strong understanding of the fraud involved by the conspiracy or the banking official. Now, I will find a way out. The investigating agency can look at it saying, I will find a way out. CBI need not come in. I will exonerate all the bank officers now. Let them out at this point of time. Why should the state government then think, oh, officers of the bank are out? CBI will also therefore be shown the exit doors. So you are, in a manner of speaking, done your investigation having regard to the implications which have emerged in the public domain. You thought this is the best way of going about shutting out CBI entering into the picture. Am I arguing and canvassing a case where if CBI comes, they will probably bring in the banking officials also in the net? May or may not be, I do not know. I am not speaking here on behalf of the bank as concerned about the officers also. If suppose the executive director and managing director involved, so be it. So, but that can happen only if an agency which is exclusively given the authority to investigate does the investigation. I mean, that means not only that. I don't want to travel into certain domains which will look very controversial and may also look maybe a little difficult to travel. I'm traveling this very, very cautiously. I mean, very. So anything the attorney says will be part of a public debate. So I'm very careful about that.
Yes.
But I try to look at it objectively as possible. One understands that in many of these transactions today in public affairs, public life, it's very difficult to draw a line somewhere and say, objectively speaking, this is true. And even if, and as one of the American historians said, objectivity is not necessarily neutrality. So therefore, the truth in public life today, many things happen. Many people, accountability, transparency, wrongs, errors. So they get mingled in the hailstorm of politics and then, so but given that all that position and picture, I only thought that if RBI way back in 2016, when perhaps the current set of affairs where all this get mingled, probably were not there. Banking fraud going back to the old Mundra case, all the days onwards. The banking frauds were, of course, even then involved public, people in public life. Krishnamacharyas, all those, you'll have to remember that. But that was a slightly different issue altogether. Today, it is assuming all kinds of like the octopus spreading its tentacles. If I am not wrong in using that. So the tentacles reach where we do not know. So if that is so, it's important that this law, that the Banking Regulation Act and the RBI authority go untrammeled. And therefore, I ask myself a question. If that is so, and if state government will come in only under Section 5 of the DSP Act, a very responsible state government will say, I have nothing to do with this matter. If CBI is the person to go under this law, and let it be. But if the state government says, no, I have something to do with this matter. I want to oppose CBI because I have power under Section 6. I have a sense of discomfort about that. The sense of discomfort is not, again, in any political sense, I mean the legal sense. In the legal sense, there is a sense of discomfort. Therefore, my submission is CBI will necessarily investigate this matter. It may reach the same conclusion as the conclusion with the state police have arrived at. It may reach yet another different set of conclusions where who will be involved and not, nobody knows about it. Perhaps CBI may even drop the investigation. We do not know. So to thwart or to at the threshold to say, Mr. CBI, you are an alien to this issue, I think is something to be questioned. It's something to be taken very, very carefully with a pinch of salt. So I don't think this judgment of just Supreme Court in the context of a maintainability of a suit and in the framework of Delhi Special Police judgment will have any relevance in fact.
So that is one thing, sir. The other thing is the learned senior counsel is saying, you cannot choose the investigator. Now you fall back upon 35A even for that.
That principle is a broader principle in criminal jurisprudence.
No,
right?
only
I cannot. In the broader criminal jurisprudence, because long ago in Hobbes Leviathan said, look here, I'm taking over authority. The state will take over authority to do what it wants to in matters of doing justice. So I cannot do a private wrong. If I cannot do a private wrong by choosing an investigator who will probably shield and cover my wrongs. So that is the principle where that it comes in. But the bank is not choosing. If the bank says, I don't want CBA, I don't want state, I will want somebody else, I can understand that. It is not in administration of criminal justice, this principle is equivalent to a forum shopping principle. But the bank is bound by what the RBI says. Therefore, unless the master circular, somebody comes to the court and says that, look here, this master circular 35A are all good myths. The myths to be busted, right? Somebody will have to come to the court and say, well, I am challenging this. And who is RBI to say in such matters and with an extended meaning which the attorney would like to give for 35A? Who is the RBI to come and say all this? So somebody will have to come and challenge 35A, the master circular, and say, the bank cannot choose its own investigating agency. But I cannot read 35A or the master circular in that way. It is not the bank choosing it. The bank must abide by the discipline of ensuring that the banking integrity of the country, proceeds on certain lines. We have seen a large number of bank frauds across the world. The Lehman Brothers, all of us know about that. Yeah. So therefore, if today we are marching into an area, a digital area, a technology area, a new way of committing crimes, where anything can happen and all things can be put under the carpet for good or bad reasons. So therefore, the master circular is not under challenge. 35A or the authority RBI is not under challenge. And I'm not choosing my investigator. I am bound to go by that principle. These are two answers to that question. Yes. So having said that, I was looking at their reply, not permitted to go to their objections. Yes.
Yes, sir.
30 of these. I'd like to draw attention to one more legislation, which is a later day realization by the Parliament of the importance of why CBI will be the investigating agency. This is the Banning of Unregulated Deposit Schemes Act 2019. That's right. So we had seen all kinds of deposit frauds from Sharda and onwards and small time Pondicherry. We have seen all over the country. So this section 30 of this act says on receipt of information under section 29 or otherwise, if the competent authority has reason to believe that the offences relate to a deposit scheme or deposit schemes in which so-and-so takes property is involved and all that kind of thing, the competent authority shall refer the matter to the central government for investigation by the Central Bureau of Investigation.
Section 30 of the Butts Act.
That's right.
All right.
So if there is a mid-path card out here, it will refer to central government will then act and directly ask CBI to investigate. Another interesting provision here, as a follow-out, as a sequitur to section 30, subsection 2, the reference made by the competent authority under subsection 1 shall be deemed to be with the consent of the state government under section 6. So even where the section 6 DSP Act may have some relevance, this legislation says your consent is not to be given expressly. It shall be deemed to be available to the competent authority. So today we have marched forward on understanding how special classes of offences on public, having regard to public interest, will now be entrusted to CBI.
Yes, sir.
I looked into the details for the accused in the charge sheet. A very interesting narration about who are they. I'll just take a lordship through that, just broadly stating. Some of them are part of the officers of the Valmiki Corporation, and some are outsiders. And money has flown from money which belongs to the corporation has come into the Union Bank and flown out of the Union Bank and into so many hands. Not certainly with good intentions for doing public interest work for the tribal advisory corporation. None of them have any connection with the tribe's development. So who are they? Why are they here at all? The answer will be given only by a proper investigation agency. All that the charge sheet says is money has been so-and-so, 50 lakh been given to so-and-so, so-and-so received 1 crore, etc. But why that money went into their hands? What is the reason behind that? For what purpose? I don't think the corporation, Valmiki Corporation, would like to share its bounty with some strangers outside for holy reasons. Therefore, it's a very important question. The charge sheet, therefore, would like to close it very quietly at this stage so that any further scan may not bring out certain unseemly things which might have happened in this case. And
the statement of objection, you have filed the charge. Yeah, part of the charge sheet along with the state. They have filed it along with the state.
It's all right.
tomorrow we discuss.
No, it's, I am here. You can choose your date. I am here. You can choose your date. I have no problem at all.
I don't want to.
Since I've heard this, I'll post it for.
Want to see that the court's availability is also equally
No
important.
problem. Friday, Monday, anything.
Please.
Because I think we are here up to the first, from the second it is closed. So vacations. Second, Allah? First of all.
Any date.
List the matter on 30th. What time? We'll take it at 2:30?
Even at the early part of the time.
Yes. Take
Whatever time would suit your lordship.
2:30 is fine?
Even I can come in the, I can come in the morning hours, no problem.
No problem.
Morning will be.
All right.
For blood.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ bracket ಅಲ್ಲಿ bracket. Yes, sir. Give it. Give. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ pleading judgments ಇದ್ರೆ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡಿ. I'll just go through them.
Yes.
Everything. Yes. Continue the list. Omkar. 12. Huh? Stay ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್ ನೀವು ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಸ್ಟೇ ಕೊಡೋ ಕೇಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಹಾಗೆ.
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್. 12 CC 2017 Omkar.
It is a false allegation where the complaint has been filed
False
after
allegation ಇರ್ಲಿ.
after a week of 7
ಇವತ್ತು
days, the
ಏನ್
complaint has
ಸ್ಟೇಜ್,
been filed,
ಯಾವ
my lord.
ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ? What is the stage today?
It is in the evidence stage, my lord. It's a 2017 matter, evidence stage.
No,
ಮುಗ್ದಿಲ್ಲ.
evidence stage ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದಲ್ಲ. If charges are framed and trial is commenced, I will not interfere. sir.
ಅಲ್ಲ, it is still in the stage of evidence. Only the documents
ಇಲ್ಲಿ
have
the
been
stage of
filed.
evidence ಅಂದ್ರೆ trial is commenced.
7 years delay ಇದೆ already. Complaint file ಆಗಿದೆ. There is 7 days delay in filing of the complaint.
7 days.
Please,
Not fatal.
15/11 is the incident.
Damage to public.
And for petition, releasing GPN,
The petitioners are A8.
releasing GPN.
The petitioners are A8. ಇಲ್ವಾ ಏನ್ ಫೈಲ್? A8 and A9. ಇಲ್ವಾ ಏನ್ ಫೈಲ್? A8 and A9. The look, a perusal at the complaint would not indicate any overt act or direct offense.
told yesterday, charge sheet, similar matter, this honorable court,
ಏನ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ 376 ಅಲ್ಲಿ
this honorable court,
ಏನ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ 376 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ.
in similar
What similar, sir?
circumstances, similar circumstances, my lord.
ಏನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಸರ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ಟಾನ್ಸ್ 376 ಅಲ್ಲಿ.
No, my lord,
No, no.
it's a false promise of the,
Why did you promise?
no, it's not a promise.
Why did you promise?
No, it's not a promise. He has not given any promise, but
ಮತ್ತೆ?
the allegation is,
Without promise, what did you do then? Nothing.
it's a
Yes.
false, by the false, like interim.
ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಶೀಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ.
It's already filed, I'm not.
ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಫೈಲ್ಡ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಏನಿವೆ. ನಂಬರ್ ಇದೆಯಾ?
Yesterday they said they not yet filed.
Alright, huh?
Not yet,
Huh?
not yet filed.
The learned, the petitioner is before this court so and so.
Filed.
The learned, the petitioner is before this court so and so. A perusal at the complaint would indicate that the complainant was consent.
Served on the complainant, even from the court.
E-report is accepted and,
Served on the complainant, even from the court.
E-report is accepted and case is closed.
With a one-line order that notice served,
Any
none
one-line order.
none appears.
Madam, once
Please.
B report is accepted and closed, we have to hear the accused. Yes.
Well,